Remember to smile. Live chat is on. Okay. Hey, Gail. I'm so glad you popped in. I think I've got it. What I've got is Streamyard, no, OBS, which allows me to use different cameras. I've got my source photo over there. I forgot to set the latency. I've got my workspace here. Are we going? No. It helps if I have mine on. Okay. Wow. Look at this. No latency from, 1 second. That's great. Okay, my source photo is over there. Over there. My palette is here. Palette is here. Or right there. A little bit of a lag now. There's the palette. And there's the work surface. And then over here are people who join. And I lost my iPad. Let's see if I can get it back. Try again. Streamyard says that mobile stuff is still in beta. Wow. Now, theoretically, I got to go back over here and make sure my iPad's set up so y'all can see it. It's a wonderful view. Okay, now move that back out of the way and click on that. Now, I'm almost of a mind to say that this is a better setup than going straight out of OBS. The reason being that the picture of the flowers coming straight off my screen rather than coming in the lower left corner. So now I'm going to go back over to YouTube and turn it on, go live, hit my button. Hey, Pammy, Linda. Well, ask and you shall receive, Miss Gail. Because all I have to do is this. Lower the camera. Now, is that close enough? Gosh, I got a bunch of y'all. Cheshire, Linda, Pam. A little bit. My camera's a little bit crooked, but we're not going to worry about that today. Okay, and I can make the palette a little bit bigger. Probably doesn't need to be, but we're playing today. And my iPad, that's my visitor. Yeah, but do you want to see what I see, or do you want to see same size? I mean, I paint from it that size. I can reduce it a little more. I mean, these are variables. They can be altered. So that flower measures here from my screen to the paper. So before I would be, probably out about like that. You can't go much bigger vertical. You can't do it, guys. You can go somewhat. See, I'm limited by the amount of vertical screen space there is available. And I can make that smaller. I can pull this one on in. Okay, so there's the bottom, and there's the top. Now that's as big as I can go with that to fit on the monitor. Yeah, okay, I got you, Gail. Now I can go bigger with this. See, I can go bigger that way, but you're going to miss the vertical, some of the vertical. Bah. I don't want that. Yes. Okay. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Can your thumbnail go under the wrap? No. No. I can make this wider like that, but it's going to cut into the height. I'm working with 4 different softwares here. You seem to be focusing okay. But that's as much real estate as I have available. I think I can play with it. See these striped areas up at the top? That's dead space in this particular software. The reference photo is coming direct off my computer from a Photos app. Yeah, but everybody wants the palette, the workspace, and the source if I'm painting from it. So I'm just trying to please the majority of folks who say something. Who wants to? I'm looking at it on YouTube. That's where I'm chatting with you. And the only way I can get it into Streamyard is by having my toolbar at the bottom and my top at the screen. There may eventually be some way of doing that differently, but I've been talking with Streamyard folks, and this is my only option at this point. So y'all saw OBS last week. Well, Gail, you can talk to CB about that because CB wants the palette. Well, you're not going to see my face all the time. That's where yours would go. So if you want me to send you an invitation, there, my face is just there for a placeholder. I'm going to send Pam a link. See, I still got it. Let me figure out how to do that. Okay, Pam, I'm just going to send it to email because that's easier right now. Okay. All right, now when Pam accepts that and comes in, Okay, well, I'll just have to give you a private demo, I guess. When Pam accepts that invitation, I can put her in place of me.
Hello? Hello? I can hear you. I can hear you.
Nope, I don't want me. Pam disappeared. What happened to you, Pammy? There's my beauty star face. It used to be. Okay. Pam will let me know when she's back. So, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to just hack this flower right about there, right about there. I like to know what my dimensions are, and it's perfectly square, so right about there. Helps if you have some lead. And right about here. Yeah, wham bam, where's Pam? Pam, type in there if you lost your link. I mean, if you were on mobile, because StreamYard is still playing with mobile. See, they're like me, they're playing as well. So I'm just going to I'm going to go from the center out. Are you or not? No, let's just go from down here. Am I hearing? No, I don't hear Pam yet. That's off. It needs to come a little bit more. Like that. This is experimenting. Every time I go into StreamYard on an iPad or a phone, they say, we're still testing this. Don't get upset. So I'm still testing this. Don't get upset. And then we've got one that comes over here. Lena's our star drawer. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Way. And then this circle isn't really there. But we've got some green in the middle, it looks like. And we've got our little prongy thingies. Now, the thing that I'm going to talk to you as though y'all are interested in realism, which I know you're not, but some people are. You don't paint what you can't see. So if you can't see it, you can't paint it, and you don't want to paint it. Does that make sense? I need to bring this leaf way on out. I'll get it in a minute because it comes way on down, which means that one's too big. It's a little better. So that one ended right here. Okay. Any questions? I think we lost Pam. And I don't particularly want myself up on the screen either. So we can take care of that. But you get the drift. This can work just like everybody's been using Streamyard, except that when I'm the main person, you'll see my whole screen. And when somebody else is over on the side, you didn't go away. You're supposed to. There it is. It's because there's nothing on my paper, Linda. So once I get some color down, it will work. Get all my brushes out of the water. I mean, there's so many elements to make this even possible. Streaming at all is a miracle. No longer than I left those in the water, they curled. We've got a pretty good latency today. What am I going to use? I'm going to use this. Now I'm going to paint everything that is not white my lightest color, which is a real pale yellow, and it's got a little bit of green in it, so I can just use what's on my plate. Are we seeing the plate? Yep, we are. Good deal. Look at this. I wanted to show you this. That's what I've just been scratching around with, testing colors, and it looks like a rose, so I may have to save that. Let's see. It's a little more yellow than that. What do I want? I think I want a little bit. Nope, that made it brown. You knew it was going to make it brown when you did that. This is the kit from the class I teach, and this is the palette that I for beginners. It is the Daniel Smith Essentials, I believe, and it's got a warm and cool of each color. And so now I want to see, yeah, that's better for that color. Some clean water. So now everything but the white. And you'll start seeing some more focus when I get more paint on here. So just everything but the light. And that means everything. And there's not really any light in here. And this one is here. I'm not going to, I'm going to leave this purple edge blank with the white because they're so close together. I might not get them separate. And because the purple is darker anyway. And then we've got some right here. We've got some pink right there. And we've got some yellow right there. Now I'm going to paint everything else yellow. This is a Cad Yellow Deep, I believe, in this kit. I'm not real sure at this point, but it's kind of an orangey. This is a new exercise that I've been testing for myself, because as anybody who is a watercolorist knows, you'll end up with no whites at the end of your painting. I'm using the Jean Haynes number 10, and it's a sable. Sorry for you guys that are vegan, because you're missing a lot of fun with natural hair brushes. Okay, so now we let that dry. Hey, Nikki. I need to get my 100% bird's eye unbleached cotton diaper, 100% cotton. Attach it to my apron and dry this baby. Now, next color up will be the next color darkest. I think what it's going to be some more of this. I'm going to make this up as I go along, just for the sake of playing. Might add a little bit of pink to that so we'll know it's different. And I'm going to come back in these areas that are curving down into that petal. And that goes that's kind of my shadow through here. And then over here we have just a neck. What that begins to do is form a curve. Lost my little ruffled spots. And we've got some more of that in here where the leaf is cupping up. And this is usually the point where I say, oh, I wish I had done a better drawing. And then we've got some pink here. And everything that's not light and pink, light and yellow, gets painted again. This technique that I'm playing with was, I'm sure it's been around forever, but for other mediums, I'm the one that decided to try to see if I could muck things up a bit. do it with watercolor. Theory being you're painting from light to dark. You're leaving your whites from the very beginning. Okay, now we have some of the light yellow. You can barely see it. We've got some white. And there's an awful lot of gray in there on these leaves when they turn away from the light. So I can add some of that because I want everything that's not white. And we've got some of that gray coming in. Whether this works or not, we'll find out. Hey, Branson. It could be dirt from my monitor. All right, I'm going to try to get. Pam, did you ever come back or did you dash away? Now, let me pull this up a little bit closer. What we have are 3 different colors. We've got white, and we've got our real light yellow, and then we've got this rosy color. So that technically is 3 values. It's really not because they're all so light. Let me find my pencil. Let me see where y'all can see up here. Need to put clean paper down, don't I? Here's your white. Here's your very palest. You can call it dark light. You can call it whatever, but it's in the lights. Here's your medium. And here's your dark. So by leaving this one from the very beginning and then painting all 3 of these with the second tone, and then when we come down one more time, then we're going to paint everything that's not these 2 with this one. And finally, we're just going to put the dark on. And that, in theory, is supposed to make it easier to see your whites. And that's something that every artist has to practice. So everything but those 2. So that to me is, I'm going to do the greens as that. And the greens are, I'm just using what's on my plate. I'm just going to lightly put some in. Now, a la Jean Haynes, whoops, that's dirty water. Dirty water. I'm going to make these kind of fuzzy because you can always make a hard edge. It's difficult to come back in and make a soft one. Let me get that dirty water out of the way. I don't throw away my dirty water because there are times that I want to use it like this. If you don't like where it lands, then you just come back in and kind of dab it out. And yes, I'm going to mention his name. It irritates some people that I do that, but this is my stream, so I'm going to do it. Learn that from Charles Reed. This is what's going to make the flower pop out since it's all white. I mean, it's pretty much a white flower. And there's some little weeds going on in there. Need this edge to be soft. That one appears dirty too. Now this edge is crinkly. It's got all of them. All the petals are crinkledy. So this is supposed to, see, I forget. This is supposed to be everything that's not the first two values. Let me get this layer of level on, and then this level of darkness and lightness on this piece. And then I want to come back and see what's going on with the now this would be a good, oh, no, not that, not yet, not yet. And if I'm going by that, then everything in here will also be that mid-tone. It doesn't have to be that color. I've got some. It can be any color you want it to be, as long as it is the darkness of the green. If it's the same darkness. You know what? I don't like that one. I'm going to use this. I'm just going to make a general purple. Then I'm going to come in here on those. Everything but the little stamen. As she says, as she paints right over one. But since we know that she's not bothered by using gouache, because we're not in England and we're not applying to the World Watercolor Society. Okay, so there's that. And everything but those. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in and soften. And I'm using B paper, which means, once again, I'm grabbing the cheap paper. It is 100% cotton. Switch back to the cheap brush. And it doesn't take a whole lot of scrubbing, but it is so convenient to just reach for it. But since I've got paper over in my paper drawer that's been there for 15 years, I've probably got full sheet watercolor paper to last me a lifetime. I'm going to get that and cut it up into pieces bigger than this so that I'll grab good paper instead of bad paper. But I consider these kind of like studies. So now we've got covered everything. Well, we didn't do the outside. I'm still not going to do the outside. All right, I want to see what y'all are thinking. Okay, now, Linda Wessel, does this look better to you now that we're into the painting? I can take this picture bigger. What's on my desk. Now that I've got it established, we don't need all of that. I'm glad I let that go when I did. We don't need all that paper at the bottom. Kind of like that. Now, Branson and Linda aren't too far apart. We keep threatening to get together. Linda and McIntosh from Oklahoma used to meet at my house. Okay, are there any questions? And how about what you're seeing on your screen? I can't do anything about the gray striped area, my taskbar down at the bottom or the top of my screen. Those aren't really taking up a whole lot of real estate. My source photo is just about the same size on screen as it is on my painting. And there's my palette, and this is empty space. Does it make sense now? Like Pam Lephasis. Please don't scrub with a good brush. A good Kolinsky brush should last you a lot of years if you treat it right. This is a cheap synthetic. Well, it's kind of mid-range synthetic. And that is dry enough to proceed. Now, in theory, we can go into the darkest darks. Which I need a dark. I'm going to go back to this little palette because it's got alizarin crimson and ultramarine. And I can get a good purple from that. But it's not going to be... Let me rephrase that. I need a strong purple for this flower. So come over here to my little handy dandy system. Wet that down real good. And those of you who haven't seen, I put a system together with a pan of every tube I have. And if I want to paint bigger, then I can just go get the tube and squeeze out something that suits me. Okay. Now that flower is really one of these reddish purples, a combination of. What you're gonna do. I'll stick with this one. So when I'm doing a pan with a Kolinsky, I hit it on its side. I don't use the tip. I could clean my palette, but it's a whole lot more fun to work on a dirty one. Now we need our darkest green, and I think I've got some here. Linda Wessel is the one that got me on using a plate for a palette. Now the darkest green is in here. Now y'all also remember that I fight realism. Now if I wanted to, where's that? The alizarin crimson, I can come back in. And because the dark green, which is one of these greens here on my table, because they're the same value, the alizarin and the dark green, I can just dab some alizarin in there for variety. Let me show you. Did the focus problem go away once we had some color down? Come on. Anyway, it'll focus about when I get tired of holding it up. You can just barely see those alizarin dots in there. Any questions there? Thank you, Miss Lena. We do have limitations. All right, now I'm going to go in with a kind of mix of both of those purples I just put out. And I've already got an outline to follow from my version when I did these two variants. Now I'm on the darkest dark. Does that make sense? I already have a roadmap, so I look at my picture less and less at this point. I'm just going to drop in some of that darker purple. This is where I like working with tube paint better, because I can get the darkest value or the darkest hue of that color easier from a pan than I can, from the tube than I can a pan. Okay, now I'm going to work a little bit. Those are kind of a pinky. See that pink? You can't see me. It's here that you can see me. There's some pinky right in here. Let me put my iPad on full screen. I won't be able to see. Damn, you guys, that looks great. And I'm looking at the same thing you are. I could see the chat. Oh, the chat will pop up on my left. Okay, now where am I going to go? What I was talking about are... I can't get there from where I'm going. I've got so many cameras going. Right over there on the source photo, there's some pinky color on the ends, and I've got a rose out. And mixing it with that reddish purple will give me close to the color I'm looking for. Once again, I have a roadmap because I painted that area with the lightest yellow. So I'm going to, now as I go along, I'm going to soften these edges as I go. And I want to leave a little bit of white right here on this tip. So I dried my brush off. Just picking up a little bit of that paint. Okay, so where else does that color appear? It appears over here. And that does go to the edge. There is no white there. And we don't see over here. We do over here, up here. Now this is where I've told you about, if that leaf curves, you can do it with value, like you can do it with temperature, cool and light. I'll get it right in a minute. Warm and cool colors will make it recede. And you can do it with the shape of the mark that you put down. So if we want that mark to be just a curve, that will help us imply that that leaf is curling backward. We got a little bit up in here. And we've got and that's about all of that color that appears. We can put some, add some just in here. We can do whatever we want to do. Now, any questions? Hey, Nancy. I am testing something new again this week. This is Streamyard and OBS. So when I have guests, they can appear to the side like they do with everybody else's stream. And you can still see on my screen my source, my painting, my palette. But when somebody else takes over, my whole screen will just be a little square like the Streamyard that everybody's been using. But since I like to paint, I'm in a paint mode right now over crafting. So in order to be effective with that, I need to be able to show you my palette. So that's what this exercise is all about. Okay, now let's see what's going on with okay, it's wet enough now that I'm going to use a bit of this Winsor Newton Ultramarine Violet, just because it's kind of a bluish color. Okie dokie. Now, I'm going to go ahead with this dark purple and I'm going to dance around these petals. And they do touch. Now, because this purple is darker than my green, I can capture back some of my ruffledy part of that flower edge. I'm painting with my synthetic because there comes a time when you may not want a lot of liquid. And then I'm going to come back right underneath this and just do a little line of one of these other purples. It's really got a little more red, more of a reddish purple. It was last Sunday I was being told that I might want to pay attention and listen to what other people have to say about this method of, I don't want to do that because I'll lose where I am, trying to get OBS to work. Well, the people that I checked with didn't know a whole lot more than me, but I did. Nothing wrong with that. We're playing with new technology, and that this is even possible in a small sense is a miracle for everybody. Doesn't always work the way we want it to. And streaming is still fairly new on the block as far as being able to do it. And I could tell you another little secret. So I will. If you're in a workshop, a live workshop studying with a teacher, you won't see anything. Because they're up front And there might be 10 or 15 people between you and his easel or her. And if you're sitting over on the right side of them and they're right-handed, their arm is in the way of you seeing. So you've paid $500 for this workshop and you can't see. This is, well, I can't even tell you how cool this is. To be able to demonstrate like this for you. When we did the workshops with Charles Reed, yeah, I mentioned him again. You had to draw numbers with the 20 or so people that were all wanting to sit right up next to him. And you only got to sit up next to him 1 or 2 days in a 14-day period. And if you weren't sitting up next to him, you could hardly see. Y'all have got a front row seat compared to that. So all I'm saying is be patient with those of us who are brave enough to try. Okay? Okay. Now the beauty of what's happening here is that I still have my whites, which is so difficult to keep. And it is fairly white around all of this purple. So that means I'll have to come in here and darken it with the yellows to make that work. But it is possible. Let's see what any of y'all are saying. The way I make ATCs, guys, is tape them all together on the back and paint them all at once. You can get 24 done that way real quick. Okay, I didn't finish going all the way to the bottom. I did see that, Lena. I just burped in your ear. Did y'all enjoy that? And Miss Lena gets to go meet a fib kid tomorrow. I think that's just cool. You can say what you want to about wasting time with online friends, but that's how Linda Wessel and I met in person. We met each other on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook much anymore, so I do my groups, and that's about it. These little things that I'm doing on bee paper, I may very well do these again next week on good paper. Because I've worked out my concept, so to speak. I'll show you the one I did Friday, I think. Can't even walk through my room without knocking something over. This one. Again, on the bead paper, so I got some lines that I wasn't crazy about, but it helped me test it. That'll make a cute, bigger painting. Cute. Okie doke. Not bad, not bad. I'm going to just put some water around this edge. See, I get involved in talking to you guys and I forget what I'm doing. I'm going to make that a little darker right in here. Okay, now creamy color. Let's see. Just try something here. I want to try this. It's on my palette. It's the Holbein Lavender. And it has white in it, so you kind of have. I kind of have to be careful with it. And it needs a little more water. We'll see. And the more water I add to it, the less the white counts. It's really more on these areas that are turning away from the light. It's cooler. Just one a little. And on top of that yellow, if it looks a little green, that's okay. Now if I come back and decide I want something a little more blue, I can add it because this is very, very light. And it will dry even lighter. If I were painting by myself, I would take a picture of, or a color sample of these gray tones, a color swatch. Okay, now this is where that leaf is curled back on toward us and it leaves a white line. And you don't see it everywhere. And I just painted right over it. But it's where that cups back this way. And we can always add gouache if we choose. And now we've got one more to mess with. And that was the one I was going to start it and I hesitated. This color's working out pretty good. Because whatever else happened, well, I don't think there's anything else on there. Now where those ruffles are, we've got Linda Wessel, I've talked about her to y'all already. I'm going to continue with that color because it really is kind of working. Has done exhibition-worthy paintings where she uses traditional watercolor and brushes. They're stunning. We can get her back doing watercolor. Coming back in, softening a little bit. I forgot to on this one. We'll come back and add some lines in there. Adds a little bit darker. It's funny how gray this color looks. Thin down how gray it looks. I'm using some dry brush in here to get some little lines. Got one more. Gray appears down in here. I only choose to paint, typically, I should say, paint paintings that have sun directly on the flowers, because that's when you see the, like this one does sort of on the upper right corner. You can see a little bit of white. That's the sun. Use a little more of that color, that rosy color. I'm just going to make some of this up. And I have it here so strong, I want it to kind of dance around. It may be opera. Okay. I don't know what this darker color is. It's a darker grayish. I'm going to use it to make a few, you know what? Got this fancy ass rigger. Yeah, I'm going to use the Cheap Joe's Lizard's Lick. This is the one, remember, that's got the fat barrel. And inside that barrel of hairs are longer hair. So they start with the longer hair in the middle and then put the short ones all around it. And that helps deliver a lot of liquid to the tip. Just a little. You can tell where my drawing is off, but in flowers, it really doesn't matter. Because no one who sees it will know what the source looked like. I don't have a real good read on this, but it's good enough for a study. Come back to some dark greens. Let's spray these down. I was working on something last week and had a lot of green in it, so it's hard to pour get just a tiny bit of green out of a tube. And greens are tricky to me because you need a variation of green to make a painting from outside look real. If you just use one tube of paint, it's going to be boring. And take a look outside. You'll see blue greens and greens like this. The flower is our focus, so we don't want any leaves trying to take over. Whoop. Well, I've got some hard edges that I'm not real crazy about, but some of these purples would be nice dripped into the background as well. And some of these. And everything is better with a little bit of red. And sometimes even a cat red. Switch back to the cheek brush. It's probably too late. I've noticed that these greens really soak in. We'll put a little bit more of that real dark color here. And a little bit up here. I think we're about done. I'm diddling. Okay. Yeah, see what y'all are saying. Hey, Azure. Linda, it is, and I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know. This one is the lavender from Holbein. And this one kind of sort of looks like Moonglow, which I know I had out last week. I just used some stuff that was already on my plate, which is why I like my plate. Oh, not bad, guys. So, how did Streamyard work? Thank you, Asher. Ew. Have you taken a shower to get rid of the chicks and tiggers? All right. Verdict. Now that we have a painting, what would you do different as far as what you're seeing on the screen? Mine doesn't look anything like the original, but we could use a little. Watch me. Keep going. little more yellow. I'm just dry brushing it pretty much. Okay. Any other positive comments? I mean, constructive criticism is what I'm trying to say. And I need to move that little cursor over so Lena won't keep trying to. I would do this flower again. Thank you. All right, I'm happy. Happy. I don't think I have anything else to show you guys. Unless somebody wants to join me and play with that a little bit. Make sure that's all working, because if I go live for real next week, I'll have a whole buttload of people telling me to find out what I'm doing. You could use, I'm not done yet. Now, I'm going to put just a little bit of white gouache. Like right up here. You really won't be able to tell it much. It's just kind of where those leaves turn and they hit the sun. The sun hits this before it goes over into the darker area. Oh, I forgot to fix my little stamens. Covered most of them up. Problem with this is that gouache will fade. It'll lighten real good. I have hardly any water. Oops. If I let that dry real good, then I can come back over that with a little bit of that yellow. I love gouache. I'm having so much fun with it. Okay, anybody want an invite? Make it poop? Yeah, I'm right. Looked at it and thought, you're right, Lena. Once it started to dry, it disappeared. Well, it didn't disappear, it just got lighter. And actually, it should be on this side if the light's coming from the upper right. Debbie, StreamYard's great, but I wanted to have my multiple cameras. So that's how I tried to figure out how to show my OBS screen and StreamYard. So that's why I've got the extra toolbar at the bottom and the things at the top. But yeah, it's working great. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and find a credit card I can put the $200 lifetime thing on. Okay, let me see what I'm doing over here. I've got about 4 software programs running to make this work. Okay, copy link, which means I need to go to, I can do it here. Social, Messenger, Lena. Okay, Lena has been invited. Who else am I friends with? Gail said she didn't want to play because she can't stand more than 1 people at a time. Okay, now I did Azure. So I don't know what happens next, but it'll happen in StreamYard. And I don't want mine there.